Am I just too picky as a man, and is that the reason why I can't find the right girlfriend or life partner? I get this question so many times. David, maybe I'm just too picky. Maybe my standards, my expectations for what I expect from a woman that I may want to share my life with are too high. Is that true? And most of the time, the answer is, well, you simply haven't been able to create enough high-quality options for yourself in your life. Because let's take a look at it. What is the opposite of having high standards, of being picky? Just choosing any random person who happens to walk by as a life partner? Remember, we're not talking about a hookup here. We're talking about a relationship for life. A relationship on eye level to somebody, to a woman who's going to support you in your business, in your career. This relationship is one of the most important relationships you'll ever have in your entire life. If you don't qualify absolutely hard, if you don't screen absolutely carefully, you will end up in a divorce. You will end up in a second divorce. You will go through a lot of emotional turmoil. I can tell you from my own experience. I was married to a woman who wasn't right for me. And the way I met her was I flew to Ireland for a martial arts seminar, and she didn't participate, but she helped her uncle organize, who's a legend in the field, by the way. And she helped him organize a martial art event. And so she was there, so I met her. We started talking. She was quite interested in me. Now, I was making a lot of communication mistakes at the time. But my energy levels were very high that day because I was able to train with my heroes. Those guys were my absolute heroes, and I knew them from the internet, and my instructor was talking about these guys for years, and then I was able to meet them, I was able to train with them. I met so many people. My energy levels were super high, so that was helpful. So that's a useful hint for you. High energy levels, authentically high energy levels. If you're an introvert, you can have high introverted energy levels. You don't need to become an extrovert, but high energy levels help. So they were high. So I was able to get her interest to an extent. And she just happened to like what she saw. You know, a lot of people consider being a ginger a flaw of nature, a genetic error, but other women tend to like it. So that's fine. She liked that. Now, I made the mistake of immediately jumping into a 1-year-long distance relationship with that woman. I moved to Ireland. We spent a couple of years and we got married. I did not qualify at all. I did not write down what my deal breakers are, what my must-haves are. I did not create options for myself. It wasn't that I had all these options of women that I was currently dating that I then chose the right person from. I was like, female attention. And I was so deprived of female affection at the time. I was like, well, this is amazing. Great. A woman interested in me? Fantastic. Let's go with it. And that's what most of you do. Most men stumble upon the right girlfriend or life partner by accident. They pick the next best option who shows a little bit of interest. And you know what I hear from people sometimes? It's shocking, the lies that people tell themselves, but I can tell you that I can detect it within a second if you lie to yourself, because I lied to myself to such a mind-blowing extent as well. There's people who come to me and they're dating somebody and they say, wow, it's actually the best sex I ever had. I was like, this is absolutely impossible. Given what I know about you, client perhaps, and I've known you now for several months, we've talked every week, be that in the group coaching calls, one-on-one, WhatsApp, whatever the case may be, text for the Americans. I know you pretty well right now, and this is not true. Stop lying to yourself. And if it's actually true that this is really the best sex you've ever had, then you really gotta up your game. Now, does this mean that you're supposed to be having intimacy or sex with hundreds of women? That's absolutely not necessary. Some of you might say, well, how long is it gonna take to find that special person? Well, it's gonna take X amount of dates. Now, you can shortcut that process if you fine-tune your selective focus, and if you learn to communicate your personality authentically and effectively, and if you get on dates with women who roughly fit your profile. That's why online dating is so important. Most men have no idea on how to create high-quality options for themselves using Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, Match.com, or even how to reach out to women on Instagram, not in a weird or creepy way, the way a high-value man would, in an absolutely respectful, in an absolutely calibrated way. And if you screen absolutely properly, the probability of ending up in a relationship that might last a lifetime is very high. Because remember, the mainstream has fooled you. It is not about communication and relationship. Yes, communication is important. Communication is everything that I do. But the number one predictor for success in a relationship is compatibility. My ex-wife and I, our values were not aligned. And by the way, if you just want to have a hookup with a woman and having fun and experiences is fine on the journey to finding an amazing girlfriend or life partner, but a high quality relationship should always be the aim. But if you're just looking for a hookup, yeah, you don't need to talk about religion or politics on the first date. Now, you're not supposed to have a logical 45-minute discussion about politics or religion on the first date. That's absolutely mind-numbing, because the first date is just about emotions, fun, and playfulness, creating attraction, building physicality respectfully, using storytelling, developing all these skill sets, learning the social dynamics, understanding the psychology of attraction. That's really what it is about. But you can absolutely have a 30-second conversation about religion and politics, or even a minute or two. Absolutely, you can talk about that. Because if you're looking for a life partner and you happen to be on this end of the political spectrum and she happens to be on this end and you're both very convinced, your relationship is doomed to fail. Same with religion. If you happen to be religious and she hates religion, you're screwed, or the other way around. You have to be aligned on your core values. That's one of the things you have to screen for. What are your core values? What is it you really, really want in life? What is it that you stand for? If you disagree on those things, the relationship is doomed to fail, because the conflict is going to keep coming up over and over again. I'm going to tell you, the relationship that I have with Fernanda is absolutely amazing. Now, anybody who tells you they have a perfect relationship is a liar, because that does not exist. You're not going to have a 10 out of 10 perfect relationship. That doesn't exist. But you can have an 8 or a 9 out of 10 relationship, which is pretty amazing, which can really drastically increase your happiness levels. The relationship that I have with Fernanda is so amazing, one, because I have excellent world-class communication skills, and you don't need excellent world-class communication skills, but you can get to 70% of where I am within a matter of months if done so correctly. Apply for a free initial consultation call if you want to learn more, but not just because of my excellent communication skills, but also because of compatibility. We just don't fight about a lot of things because we agree on most things. We agree on most things that happen in the world. Not everything, but most things. 95% of our core values, like almost all of our core values, are actually aligned. Even just the fact Fernanda went to the gym 5 times a week for many, many years before I met her. I don't have to push her to go to the gym. Yeah, every now and then, she's a woman. She may need a little bit of encouragement, of course. But like, she goes there by herself because she's inherently motivated to take care of herself physically. She has an inherent motivation to feel attractive, so I don't have to tell her to do that. I don't believe in telling women what to do. That's not your job as a man. But if your partner doesn't take care of herself physically, or if the man doesn't take care of himself physically, and that's important to you, well, it's going to be very, very difficult, because if you have to tell that person that she should be taking care of herself physically, it's going to be very, very difficult, Another one is intelligence, right? If you happen to be quite intelligent, and she doesn't value education as much, or she's, a little bit more simple, which is also fine, then you might not be able to have these intellectually engaging conversations. With my ex-wife, I had so many fights about religion, about politics, about this, about that. It's like all kinds of things. We were arguing about so many things. And she's not a bad person at all. We just weren't right for each other. And she got a little defensive sometimes. Probably I made mistakes as well. Don't want to say that I didn't at all. But these fights that I had that came up over and over again that ruined a Saturday date night. So for example, today is the 25th, today's Christmas Day here, shooting content for you guys. And like earlier, Fernanda's at home making breakfast now for me and my friend. And then I don't know what we're gonna do. We're perhaps gonna watch a movie, and there's no fight, there's no argument. But with my ex-wife, if the conversation about some core value would have surfaced, it would have messed up the mood for several hours perhaps, right? I told the story a few times, and it was a sunny day in Ireland many, many years ago. I was with my ex-wife, and there's not that many clear, beautifully sunny days. So we decided to go for a walk, and she says, David, you should put on sun protection. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm ginger, I know. I burn very easily, but give me a few minutes. I haven't seen the sun in Ireland in like 2 weeks, so give me maybe 20, 30 minutes. I hear it's good for you. And check out Andrew Huberman, by the way. Direct sunlight exposure to your skin in a safe way is absolutely healthy and can increase testosterone as well as dopamine. So that's absolutely healthy. I didn't know it that explicitly back then, but I implicitly, like intuitively, felt that it would be good for me. So I was like, in 20, 30 minutes, I'm going to apply the sun protection. She said, no, you should put it on right now. I said, well, I think I'm going to put it on in a few minutes. Thank you so much. No, you should put it on right now. Why don't you listen to me? It's like, oh, okay. And so I didn't put it on. So she started walking ahead of me, and she didn't speak to me for 3 hours. She didn't speak to me for 3 hours because I refused to put on sun protection on my own body. And I don't want to say I'm perfect. I'm sure I made some mistakes of myself as well in that relationship, for sure. We all do, right? You don't want to be just a person pointing the fingers. But you can imagine the degree of a lack of compatibility there was and how that led to a lot of unnecessary conflicts. Fernando and I don't have those because we agree on most things. That's why coming full circle, having high standards, being picky is absolutely essential when it comes to finding the right girlfriend and life partner. It's one of the things that I help my clients with in the beginning. It's one of the things that I help my clients with throughout the entire process. Sometimes clients come to me and say, David, well, this person seems great. I was like, well, what about this? What about this? Have you asked these very, very difficult, precise questions? Have you communicated your personality sufficiently provocatively to be able to tease out whether there's actual compatibility or not? Because another mistake that a lot of men make, in the beginning they hold back a little bit, they change themselves, they're a little bit too nice, they violate a lot of social dynamics. Then later on, 6 months, 12 months down the line, when they feel, I got her, then the true self comes out. And all of a sudden they don't want to sacrifice on not going to the gym anymore. All of a sudden they want to spend more time with their male friends. All of a sudden they want to work more on their gym, on their career or their business. And then all of a sudden there's a problem. Or in the beginning you texted a lot, not because you like texting, but purely because you were afraid that she wasn't going to respond or that you were going to lose her and you have no idea on how to text anyway. And then 6 months down the line, 12 months down the line, 2 years down the line, she expects you absolutely reasonably to keep up the same level of texting, the same quantity, the same cadence of texting, if you will, that you had in the beginning. So it's one of the most important things to be picky, but you can only be picky if you have a sufficient amount of high quality options available to yourself. If you want me to help you with that personally, create a lot of amazing options for yourself, why don't you apply for a free initial consultation call with the link underneath this video or on Spotify or wherever this beautiful episode may be posted. This is something that I've been doing for many years now, with clients from 27 different countries all around the world. The clients who come to me are men, usually with successful careers, their own business, and they want to find a meaningful, high-quality relationship. You can keep trying it for yourself. You can try it by yourself. But if you had been able to do it by yourself, you would have already done so. And I'm not telling you that you can't figure it out. In 7 years, perhaps you will. But do you really want to waste the next 7 years? Why don't you want to shortcut that? If your knee was broken, would you try to fix that yourself? Or would you get a knee surgeon? Would you get a specialist? Somebody who operates on knees every single day of the week. So, apply for a free initial consultation call. I wish you a happy Christmas. Enjoy the time with your family and take care of yourself.